When we talk about the cloud, it sounds so abstract, right? Like this magical thing floating up in the sky. Well, today we're going to pull it right back down to earth. We're going to turn that fuzzy idea into a very real physical map and explore the actual geography of Google Cloud. Because as you're about to see, location is everything. So let's imagine this for a second. You've just built the next big thing, and it's really taking off. You've got users logging in from a farm in Iowa and at the same time from a little cafe in Belgium. So how do you make sure the experience is lightning fast and absolutely rock solid for both of them? This is like the core challenge for any app that wants to go global. And here's the thing. The answer isn't just about tweaking your code or throwing more powerful servers at the problem. Nope. It's about starting to think like a geographer. The real secret to a world-class application lies in where you physically place your stuff on the world map. Okay, and that is where Google Cloud Platform, or GCP as you'll hear it called, comes into the picture. It gives you this incredible global infrastructure. Really, it's a playground for you to solve that exact problem. So let's dive into this world map. First up, the biggest pieces on the board, what Google calls regions. So what is a region? Well, think of it as a specific, totally independent geographical spot. The best way to picture this is like a continental distribution center for a giant global business. You wouldn't ship everything from one warehouse in one country, right? Of course not. You'd have a hub for North America, one for Europe, one for Asia. GCP regions work the exact same way. And using these regions, it solves some seriously critical real-world problems. First, you get geographic isolation. That means if, say, a huge storm takes out power in Europe, your users in the US won't even notice. It's totally separate. Then there's lower latency. This is just simple physics, right? The closer your app is to your users, the faster it's going to feel. And this one is huge these days, data residency. You need to keep your European user data in Europe because of laws like GDPR. A region lets you do exactly that. And look, these aren't just abstract concepts on a slide. They're actual places with real names. So, going back to our original problem, it's simple. You'd spin up your app in US Central 1 for your user in Iowa and Europe West 1 for your user in Belgium. Just like that. Problem solved. All right, so we've got our big continental hub set up. But what happens if something goes wrong inside one of those locations? A local issue. For that, we've got to zoom in a level deeper, from the region to what GCP calls zones. Okay, so a zone is basically an isolated data center. Think of it like a specific building that lives inside a region. And if we stick with our analogy, if the region is your whole continental distribution center, a zone is like one single warehouse in a specific city on that continent. Every region has a few of these, and they're all built to be separate from each other. This right here is how you build an app that just doesn't go down. See, by spreading your app across a few different zones in the same region, you get what's called high availability. So if one of those data centers, one zone, has a hiccup, a power outage, whatever, your app doesn't even blink. It just keeps on chugging along in the other zones. It's basically like having a few backup warehouses in the same metro area ready to take over instantly if one has a problem. All right, let's break this down one more time, side by side, because it's super important. Regions are your big picture strategy, your global reach, recovering from a major disaster, and following those all-important data laws. Zones, on the other hand, are all about the nitty-gritty of keeping the lights on, moment to moment. They give you that high availability and let you tolerate local failures. You absolutely need both to build something that's truly world-class. Okay, so we've got the physical map down, regions and zones. Now, let's pull our view way back out, even higher. Because there's another layer on top of all this, services that operate above all that geography, kind of like a global control tower. Yeah, the best way to think about these is like your corporate HQ. They aren't physically located in any one warehouse or distribution center. Instead, they're the ones setting the company-wide rules and handing out the tools that your whole global operation uses, no matter where it is. A perfect example of this? Cloud IAM. That's Identity and Access Management. This is basically your global security team all rolled into one service. It doesn't care if an engineer needs access to a server in Iowa or a database in Belgium. The rules for who can do what are all managed in one central global place. It keeps everything consistent and secure, everywhere. And here's another one, Cloud DNS. Think of this as your app's global address book, or like a universal phone book. When someone types your website address into their browser, Cloud DNS is what tells them where in the world to find it. And because it's global, even if an entire region goes offline, that address book is still there, ready to point users to wherever your app is still running.
Okay, so let's recap. We've got regions for our global footprint, zones for keeping things online, and global services for that top-level control. Now for the fun part. Let's see how all these pieces fit together in an actual architect's blueprint.
Before you write a single line of deployment code, you've got to ask yourself these questions. Seriously, think of it like a pilot's pre-flight checklist. First off, latency. Where are your users? Really? Where are they? That tells you which regions you need to be in. Next, availability. How much downtime is acceptable? 0? A few minutes a year? That's going to dictate whether you need multiple zones or even multiple regions. Nailing down the answers to these questions first is the absolute key to designing a great system. Let's make this super concrete with a case study. Imagine a global financial trading app. Okay, so this app has users all over the world, and obviously they have to follow some super strict rules. So what do? 1. For low latency, speed is money, right? They deploy in multiple regions: the US, Europe, Asia. Check. 2. For high availability, because you can't have a trading app go down, they use multiple zones inside each of those regions. Check. 3. They use global services like Cloud IAM to manage who has access to what, and a global load balancer to direct traffic intelligently. Check. And 4, and this is a big one, for compliance, they make sure all sensitive European customer data never leaves the European region. See? All the pieces, regions, zones, global services, they all click together to solve a really complex problem. You know, this quote from the source material really just nails it. Look, this isn't just some abstract theory you learn for a certification. Getting a handle on this geography is absolutely fundamentally crucial. It's the foundation for building anything that's going to be scalable, tough, and won't break the bank. So there you have it. The cloud isn't some fuzzy, abstract thing anymore, is it? It's a real map. It has continents, it has cities, it even has a global headquarters. It's a real, tangible toolkit you can use to build some incredible things. So the only question I have for you is this. Now that you know the map, where are you going to build your next big idea?